Or if we are going to broadcast on live stream, I think it's a complex thing and people need to be trained on it. Yeah. So please get yourselves trained so that you can help out with this. Yeah. So now the first two mantras give the whole like a thesis statement. It is like what is called a Maha Pratigya, a statement of intent that underlies the whole section. The whole intention is given in the first two mantras. And what is the first mantra? We studied that in detail. The sparkling stuff. Sparkling stuff. One fire, many sparks, countless number of sparks. And what was the point there? The point is that the spark is as good as the fire. It's not as part of the fire, but it is, it is the same nature, sarupaha. So we saw that. So that is the first introduction we got to Brahman. Here, after talking about in the last chapter about the need for the teacher and about going to the teacher to find out what? That, because of which everything, is. That was the question that was asked by Shaunaka, the protagonist or the student in this story. And so the teacher is now talking. And the teacher has the Upanishad here herself is the teacher, and the teacher has here a very unique way of unfolding, and which is to talk about everything in short first. And you may ask, we spent like 6 classes on the first, more than 6 I think, on the first one, on the first mantra, and plus some more classes on the bhashya. So how can it be a thesis statement? And that question is indeed valid. But, it is from the standpoint of the Upanishad, it is a thesis statement, because later on it's going to list all the things that came out one by one. Tasmad Ashvaha, the horses came, and then this came, and then that came, and then the blades of grass came. And from that grass, everybody made wheat grass juice. All this it's going to tell. In detail, it's going to tell. So, this whole sparkling stuff, the fire and the spark that we studied in the first mantra, Yatha Vispulingaha, Bhavante, what is that? Sahasrashaha, Sarupaha. In thousands, all these sparks come out, and then the idea is that the sparks fly off in different directions, but they are not away ever from the fire. They are not separated from the fire because they are sarupaha, they are identical with the fire. So that we saw. That everything that is here is Brahman alone. All that is here, every spark, every lark, everything that we see, everything that you encounter, starting with this body, mind, sense complex, Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. This is still a thesis statement. We took a long time because, we had to unfold so many things, and there are so many arguments, because especially there are all these contentions. The contentions of this theory of what is that Kshanika Vijnana Vadin, which we saw. What is a Kshanika Vijnana Vadin? The fellow who says that everything is just a spark, that there is no continuity. You yourself are a spark, If you are a spark, then you will not be able to attend the class. Why? Because you have already gone off. No, I am a series of sparks. If you are a series of sparks, then also you will not be able to attend the class. Why? Because in between there is a, there is a viparilopa. Viparilopa means there is an absence in between. Because spark means it is born and gone. Correct? Born, gone. So one spark born, gone, another spark born, gone. So in between the two sparks, going and coming, already one has a problem with Sanskrit, with memory, with rules, with grammar. Imagine if you were really sparks. Nothing, you won't even be able to go to work. Now you will not be able to do anything. Yeah. And also on the nice, we should also be very fair. On the nice side, you will not bear grudges either. So the clean slate. You will not remember anything. So, so this being the case, we had to spend a lot of time, because in the process of this, all the contentions were dismissed, and we saw how this Brahman is indeed what? Indeed the cause of the universe. And indeed everything that is here in the universe is non-separate from Brahman. Brahman has multiplied itself, so to speak, But the fire again is just one. The sparks come from the fire, but the fire, they do not question the integrity of the fire. It's not that the fire has become many. All this was told. This is still a thesis statement. So that was the first thesis statement. And then is that enough to do the whole chapter? No. Why? Because that is not the only form that Brahman takes as the cause of the universe. It is an incidental form. Only when there is a universe to account for, we say Brahman is, has manifested in the form of the universe. When there is no universe to account for, and when is that? In between yugas, after this, what is called, after all the yugas, there is a period of pralaya, mahapralaya. So this pralaya means the cessation of this manifestation is called pralaya, and where everything returns into a causal form, and on the collective level it is known as pralaya. On the individual level, what is it known as? Sleep. In sleep, everything, including your own memory, returns, including your own knowledge, memory, everything returns to a causal form. Therefore, in the process of being asleep, you don't cognize that you are asleep. But then what happens? What happens after that? You are, you understand something. And when you wake up, you say, I was asleep. So that shows that the memory and the cognition, everything, that only Atma is there, but the cognition of even the sleep is possible only later on, because everything is reduced into a causal form. And the I has merged, so to speak, with the whole. And so like this, we have, on the collective level, when the universe is not there. And it's a very clever way to understand this, because this is something which is ratified by science also, that, that there are periods where this universe is not going to be there. I mean, that's a possibility, because look at everything that's going off. Like all the suns become dwarfs, red dwarf, yellow dwarf, blue dwarf, and then everything here, we see the finitude of everything. And then so the possibility that when everything just goes back, where does it go? It goes back to Brahman. So here, this much we are okay with, because we see things coming and going. And we don't even, we also see things coming and going back to their source. We can see that. We can see that in the planets and in the, solar system, that all the planets came out from the sun. And because of the gravitational force, they are where they are, orbiting. If the gravitational force were not there, we know through physics that they will all go commit suicide into the sun. Because we know that when something comes out of the source, it is helplessly attracted to the source. We have seen this, Like the mother, the baby is always with the mother. That's how we've seen this. And so we are able to understand that, this is what happens, is going back, so to speak, we can understand. And even though we have not seen and we will never see pralaya, because we will be part of it. So you are this Brahman. So really speaking, it's not an object. So, those speculations are at best moot. It's like saying, there is a neighboring gigantic galaxy next to us. It's called Andromeda. And then what happens to big galaxies next to small galaxies? We also know from elsewhere, simulated, understanding of the universe. We know that the big galaxy swallows up the small galaxy. The small galaxy becomes one, so to speak, with the big galaxy. And how does this happen? It happens in the middle of each galaxy is a black hole. So the black hole, so the Andromeda black hole and the Milky Way black hole just come together, and their arms that are spiraling off in various directions somehow just take on one form, and that is of Andromeda. Milky Way, tata, bye-bye. Okay? Yeah, and of course, not to worry, this is several million light years away, but it is approaching us closely. Okay? So now, I read one article where they asked the question, this is going to be a starry space fireworks. It's like going to be so amazing. It's going to be so wonderful. And they said, where should we sit to watch this show? First of all, the placement of the solar system. Forget solar system, the placement of many of these stars in the Milky Way is subject to, what is that? Ooha. Ooha means guesswork. We don't know, somewhere you can, of course, those uninitiated into astronomy will just put a dot somewhere on the Milky Way and say this is the solar system, but, that's what it seems to us. But for astronomers, after a lot of, calculations, somehow they have said that it could be over here somewhere. So then, if the solar system, they have concluded this, if the solar system is somewhere towards those arms of the galaxy, then you will be able to watch the show. But if you are close to the event horizon, which is the entry into the black hole, that means, everything, including your television screen or whatever you are watching this on, will be part of the show. It will be sucked up. So like this, this kind of a speculation that how will it be when a Brahman is just by itself is again moot, because this is not going to be, it's not going to be something that is actualized ever. Okay? So, but still, then the question, it does still beg the question, what is this Brahman without the universe? Because we know Brahman only with the universe, and we are not likely to know it any other way, as long as there is a manifest universe. And neither can you say, I'll wait till the universe de-manifests to get this knowledge. Because everything is one. Where is the teacher? Where is the student? Where is Shastra? Where is, all is just Bhagavan. So therefore, this whole thing about, Brahman sans the universe, without the universe, what is this Brahman like? That is the subject matter of the second mantra, which is also in a very precise form. It's a precise form. It's like a little capsule. The first two mantras are capsules, and then later on we have an unfolding of what they meant, what their purport is in this section. So this is also a capsule, even though we are spending so much time on it. And why is this a capsule? This is a capsule because, you see, this whole thing is, it's whole thing about understanding Brahman without the universe. This may feel like a, uphill battle, this whole question. Because how are you going to understand something without the universe? Here Brahman we know only as Jagat Karanam, and we know the Jagat, it is all around me. It is in fact starting with my own body, mind, sense complex. So then how are we able to, surgically remove the Jagat in order to see the Brahman, when we are told that everything in the Jagat is itself Brahman? And also, what is the point of this and what is the need to do this? We have to be very clear about that. And the need to do this arises, from the fact that the first definition, viz. The Brahman being the cause of the universe is just a partial and incomplete definition. This is called Tatastha Lakshana, as we are well aware. So the Tatastha Lakshana is just is a partial definition. It is not a total definition. And so we need to know Brahman fully. Why? Because, let's never forget this, because the knowledge of Brahman as myself removes all notions of bondage. So therefore we need to know this Brahman completely and fully. As myself I have to know this. But then it is not an object. So how am I going to know this? Well, it is the subject, it is very much you. Correct? Yeah, it is you. Now, for the time being, it's not going to prematurely give this Mahavakya that it is you immediately. It's going to imply it because we are still in the beginning of the story. We are still looking at the capsule form. It implies it in the word Purushaha. Where is the word Purushaha? Divyo Hyamurtaf Purushaha. It implies it. Because that whenever you read the word Purusha, it means simultaneously two things. What is that? Purishayanam, the sleeping, the one who sleeps the sleep of ignorance in the citadel of the body-mind sense complex. The one who is unawakened to one's own glory. That is the first meaning of Purusha. Yeah, asleep to one's own glory. That is why Purishete Sha. The Sha stands for sleeping. Pur means town, city, citadel, fort, whatever it is. So this individual fortified by ignorance. We have a new definition. You take vitamins, multivitamins and all this, yeah. So here, Maya is the multivitamin. One dose is enough. You are completely, forever fortified by ignorance. So this Purusha. Then the second Purusha is who? The one who is what? What is the second Purusha? The one who pervades everything, the one who fills up everything, the one who completes everything. Here, this is called Ishvara Bhagavan. And so the Mahavakya is very much there. It is implied. But the purport of this is, even though the Mahavakya is there, is not necessarily to show that this is that alone. Although that is very much a part of that. Without this, we cannot even proceed further. But the purport of this is to show the definition of Brahman, without the universe. How do you define something which doesn't have form? Amurtaha, yeah, which is all pervasive. Bhashya antarascha, bhahyabhyantara, which is uncreated, ajaha, and which does not need to breathe, apranaha, which doesn't have all kinds of attitudes because it doesn't have a mind, amanaha, and free of ragadveshas, free of all kinds of, anything sticking to it, shubhraha. How do you define something like that? How do you define this Brahman which is without all these things? Without saying that Brahman is without all these things, you cannot define, correct? And when you say Brahman is without all these things, it just becomes what? A negative definition, not a positive definition. So here, the point is, even though the negative definition is there, apranaha, amurtaha, even though the negative definition is there is something here that works. What is that? The two words work, Divyaha and Purushaha. Purushaha is you, you know that. You know you exist. I know I exist. Yes, you know you exist. How? Please tell me, how do I know I exist? The same way that you are asking this question. When you say, please tell me, do I exist? Or how do you know I exist? That means you exist because you are able to ask this question. Okay, I know I exist. And what is this knowing? Divyaha. That all, knowledge. Dyotanavan Divyaha. That Divyaha undercuts the whole problem of this definition, the definition. Because the negative definition, because everything is negation. Amurtaha, Apranaha, Amanaha, So Divyaha. And finally Shubhraha and Purushaha. These three are words that are not negating anything. Shubhraha means that which is not tainted by anything. Always pure, always clear, always clean. So not tainted by the universe or anything in it. Not tainted by the vagaries of this mad mind. Not tainted, untainted by raga, dvesha, because it has no mind. So Shubhraha because Amanaha. Divyaha therefore Purushaha. And therefore Amurtaha also. Because even when we think of Divyaha, light in the form of light, you think of a candle, you think of some, 100-watt incandescent bulb. So that we don't, we want to avoid that. So Divyaha here means the knowing one. And who is the knowing one? I am the knowing one. I am the one that is knowing. And I am the topic of this Mahavakya. Because this Mahavakya is actually describing myself alone. So Divyaha, this knowing one. Amurtaha, essentially free of form. How is it free of form? Because this knowledge is free of form. Even the knower-known distinction does not exist. And where is this presence, this knowing presence? Here and also obtaining elsewhere. Everywhere this knowing presence obtains. And it is in the form of Purusha. Obtaining within the body, it is the Purusha who is unawakened to his own glory, her own glory. Obtaining outside the body, it is that Purusha which fills up everything, Bhagavan. Do you see the Mahavakya is right there? It is apranaha. I need to breathe. Why? Because the body is made sentient by the breath, but not sentience itself. Sentience doesn't have to be made sentient, correct? And so I don't need to breathe. This is a very big thing, and therefore Bhashyakara spent some time over this. And then finally what? Shubhraha, Amanaha, without the taint of the mind, the body, etc. So up till now we have some kind of an understanding, that we can comprehend. There is a certain similarity between this Purusha and that Purusha. This Purusha, the one that is weeping in the city, that is my extension. The one that is crying in the body, mind, sense complex, definitely cannot fathom itself as aprana, and amanaha. It will not think that it is without mind and without prana. It is unable to think that. But it can, with a little help, see that this same awareness exists outside the body and within. And this is Ishvara. It can look upon the one that is aprana and amanaha as Ishvara. And that Purusha which is beyond the body, mind, sense complex. But then what puts them together? The word Purusha and what else? Divyaha, Shubhraha. Both are Divya, both are in the form of consciousness. So this consciousness that obtains as my presence, what I call my own presence, with regard to the body, mind, sense complex, is the same presence that is everywhere. That same presence which is without a second, which is without, which is even before space, because this inside outside has to do with space, and Divyaha, which is timeless, limitless consciousness, which is there free of time and space. So much I can kind of fathom, I can understand this. And then finally the last two words, he, because it is aksharat parataf paraha. This, clinches the whole thing. Akshara here is Maya. You know? Yeah. Parat aksharat parah. Usually akshara means Brahman. Akshara naksharate, that which does not come to an end. And in fact, the whole teaching started with, the teacher explaining what is Brahman. Kasmin u bhagavaha vigyate sarvamidam vignatam bhavati, knowing which, everything is as good as known. What is that? Was the question asked by the student. And the teacher said, Dve vidye veditavye. Two kinds of knowledges must be known. And what were they? Para and apara. The knowledge of the means and ends, the relative knowledge, and the absolute knowledge, para, has to be understood. And what is this para knowledge was described further as aksharad yaya adhigamyate. That yaya aksharam adhigamyate sa para. That through which the indeclinable, that which never comes to an end, is known. That vritti. Vritti means the mental modification. The words of the Shastra coalesced and what is that? And made easy to understand by the pedagogical blessing of the Sampradaya coming through the mouth of the teacher, creates a framework of akhandakara in the mind. Not by the mind, in the mind. Akhandakara means a non-dual understanding is created through this, through the words of the teacher, which are blessed by the pedagogy of the Sampradaya, blessed by all the gurus in the lineage, blessed by the Upanishad herself. So here the teachers, through the teacher's mouth comes a vritti. And what is this vritti? Vritti means a thought, that which you think of as a thought. It's not that the teacher is thinking aloud. No, the teacher's words create a thought in the mind, and that thought is akhandakara thought, the thought of non-duality, that mental modification of non-duality, which you understand as yourself. Because that you is available as yourself, constantly available, nitya upalabdhi swarupa, constantly available. So therefore, you don't have to go anywhere outside to find out who is being talked about, because it goes, it goes and hits you. So that Bhagavan, which is you, is unfortunately encrusted in a brick, concrete, stone, wall, in a scaffolding. Bhagavan is there. And the vritti is like a flower that goes and touches the wall and crumbles the wall, no matter how strong. And the vritti goes and self-destructs itself at the foot of Bhagavan, which is you. This is what the whole thing is. So here, akshara in this case means that Brahman alone. But then that Brahman which we have come to know as akshara was told that it is the cause of the universe, correct? So the cause of the universe means many things have come out of it and continue to come out of it. So the word akshara in our mind is associated with the Brahman as the cause, because that's what we read in the previous mantra. So here in this mantra it says, no, not that akshara, another akshara beyond that akshara. Very interesting. So therefore, when there are two aksharas, will the real akshara please stand up? We have to ask. And here it is not a problem, because the real akshara is the one that is described as parad aksharat parah. That you thought to be para, the ultimate. The one that is even beyond that is already talked about. So this gives us a whole another dimension to Brahman, because then it paves the way for understanding how this causality has come about. The causality has come about through a mithya process, through a mithya shakti called Maya. And that Maya is called para here. Why para? Because she is the ultimate. Yeah, she is the ultimate. You try to hoodwink her? No. She makes the invisible visible. And then she makes the visible invisible. and she projects, she conceals, she covers up. In fact, you don't see Brahman at all. You only see Maya, correct?
Yes.
You don't see Brahman. Where is Brahman? But Maya you can see just like that. Because every kaya is a product of Maya. Kaya means body. So, every kaya being product of Maya, and Maya herself having no specific kaya, no specific body really, she herself is para. And she herself is Akshara, because does Maya ever come to an end? As long as the manifest universe is there, no. And even when the universe goes away, Maya is always there as a knowledge potential. As the knowledge base of Ishvara, she's there as a potential. So she is also Akshara. And this is the only Akshara we know. And lest we go away thinking and concluding that Maya is itself Brahman, here we are being told that there is something other than this. What is this? That Akshara, Parad Aksharat Parataha, means that which is higher than this Maya. That which really cannot even be talked about because it's you. That which defies any categorization, that which can never be objectified, that which is in the form of, at the most we can say it's formless, but it is in the form of that sentient consciousness which is at once limitless and which is free of everything, time, space, product, cause, effect, everything it is free of. It just is. You cannot even talk about that, So then the whole universe appears now as a, what is that? As a superimposition. What kind of a what is our example of superimposition? Stock example. Rope snake. That's why it is called aropa. Superimposition in Sanskrit is called aropaha. They knew that this rope would come later on, so that's why they must have used the word. And so this aropa is very interesting. So now see, in this rope snake, there could be two kinds of efforts, orientations. One is just to forget what the rope snake signifies. Just look at the example itself. In the rope snake, some people could be trying to remove the snake from the rope. Correct?
Yes.
Right? Remove the snake from the rope, because if the snake is the cause of the fear, the snake has to be removed from the rope. So the effort, the yatna, is to remove the snake from the rope. Okay? We are not trying to do that. Why? Because you cannot remove the snake from the rope, where now you take what is exemplified by the snake and the rope. Rope adhisthana and snake aropa. Correct? The whole jagat, everything you could say, snake sthaniya means that which takes the place of the snake. And rope sthaniya, what is that? Adhisthana Brahman. So on this Brahman is this mesmerizing, you have to use the word on, how else will you use? Even though the word on, off, above, below doesn't matter. So on this Brahman, so to speak, this mesmerizing jagat has been what? Vikshipta. It is put on this. It is projected. This whole jagat is projected, on this Brahman. And in fact, Brahman itself projects as the jagat. So therefore, the point is to not remove the jagat. Why?
Can't first, not needing it, if you understand clearly.
Yeah, because you can't. What are you going to try to remove? You can't even remove. The only thing you can remove is your mistaken understanding. You cannot remove the jagat. And it's pointless. Why do you have to remove when you are able to see that this is just a projection? That's all you need to see. So therefore, our intent and our activity here is not to remove the jagat from Brahman. In other words, let's go back to the example, it becomes very clear. in the example, we are not trying to remove the snake from the rope and then wash out the rope just for good measures in case it is slimy and poisonous, and test the fangs of the rope and then dry out the rope and then make it pure. No. Why? Because it is Shubhra, it is already pure. The snake has not left the sliminess as the residue over the rope. How do you know? Well, because where is the snake? The snake is not really there. It is a projection, my own projection, a powerful projection of mine based on my own fears and desires, anxieties. So, there is nothing to remove, except perhaps the head. There is nothing else to, because if it is very stubborn and it's not understanding, what else to say? So, there is nothing to remove. So, the point is, those who are trying to remove the snake have missed the boat. Yeah, they are on the wrong boat. Because you are trying to remove something that is not what? Don't say needing to be removed. That's not even there.
It's not even there. Right.
It's not even there. And this is what the Upanishad thinks of the Jagat. Yeah. And this is what you have to also see the Jagat as. Not even really ultimately there. That's why Aksharat Parad Aksharadapi Paraha. That is the whole idea. And this is of course a very big thing, correct? So therefore we talk about two kinds of aropas, two kinds of projections. Adhyasas. Adhyasa, same thing. Adhyasa, aropa, same thing. Two kinds of projections are available. One is called arthadhyasa. Arthadhyasa means that which goes away in the wake of, that which can be removed, that which goes away. And here the snake rope is an example of arthadhyasa. Arthadhyasa means what? That which goes away in the wake of knowledge is called arthadhyasa. So you go out and step on something and, it seems to move and slither, it's dark. And you shout, scream, it's snake. And then what happens? You come back, take your flashlight and look at it better. And then what happens? Where is the snake now? Gone. This is arthadhyasa. Then, but can you do the same thing with the Jagat? You bring the flashlight of Brahma Vidya and look at Brahman and then the Jagat disappears? No. Why? Because this is not that kind of a projection. Comes under the second category of projection called Jnanadhyasa. What is an example of Jnanadhyasa? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Yeah. So you look in the night sky, go out there with a small child perhaps, and you sing, twinkle, twinkle, little star. And you know very much that star is hardly little and neither is it twinkling, correct? Both are apparitions. That star in fact may be Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is this bada sun. In front of Betelgeuse, your sun that you think is very big does not even appear like a little mosquito, like a little dot, a pixel. That's all your sun is. This sun that you think is huge, our sun, is nothing but a pixel in front of this Betelgeuse. But then the Betelgeuse being so many thousands of, light years away, provided one can see it. If one cannot see it, substitute Betelgeuse with another bada sun. And what does the sun see? That sun seem like to you in the night sky? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. This is what is called Jnanadhyasa. So now it is not neither twinkling nor is it little. It is a star all right, but it's a gigantic star of some other galaxy, or even in our galaxy there is this big star that you are seeing as a twinkling little star. Now that you know this, now the jnana is there. Will the star stop twinkling and then become huge? No. This is what is called Jnanadhyasa. Now, Jagat and Brahman, which kind of adhyasa? Arthadhyasa or Jnanadhyasa?
Yeah.
Jnanadhyasa, because it cannot be removed, it need not be removed because Brahman is you. And you need not sit and try to remove things that don't exist. It will be like having Lady Macbeth syndrome. She was always hand washing, yeah. Because she thought she saw some blood spots because of her own guilt. The spots were in her conscience, not on the hand. Because she had engineered the killing of someone. So therefore, this whole thing has to be seen as adhyasa nivritti. Adhyasa nivritti means freedom from this superimposition and all its maleffects. Maleffects of superimposition, and this I have to see Brahman free of all superimpositions. And I cannot because it's not possible, it is jnanadhyasa. So therefore only cognitively I can, think of this or understand this cognitively. And I don't have to understand this really speaking. So we are not trying to remove the snake. Going back to the example, we are trying to understand what the rope is. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That rope even cannot be talked about. In fact, the rope, when it is talked about as Brahman, is not even visible. As rope, as anything, as Adhisthana. You cannot even see it, and you need not see it because it is you. Yeah. It is nothing but you. So therefore, the term aksharat parad aksharat paraha. It is beyond that. It is beyond this whole, aksharat parad aksharat paraha. It is beyond that which is the manifester. The manifester now has got a new name, Maya Shakti. So Maya Shakti is the manifester, and Maya Shakti also is mithya and is non-separate from Brahman, just like the manifestation is non-separate from Brahman. The manifester is also non-separate from Brahman. Manifester is Brahman, Brahman is beyond the manifester. Very nice. So we'll take a break. When we come back in about 10 minutes, we will see the bhashya for this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yeah, that can go closer still. Yeah. Okay. Amma.
So is this.
I'll turn the sound systems back
Yeah,
on.
okay.
The ability when I was trying to bring it up to those icons and tapping it for them. It wasn't doing anything, like, because I don't do apples.
Okay.
I'm used to having it in a separate.
Oh, right.
Remember,
Right. Yeah.
multiple commands with one finger, I'm confused. Did you get people? Did you just ignore it?
Yeah, no, I started doing it the way I used to do. I don't know what it's doing.
Oh,
So it's, I mean, it is streaming perfectly.
Oh, you do know what it's doing.
But they just have to find where it is.
Oh, I see what you mean. The question of where it to be saved.
Yeah, they'll find it. It's a busy thing to do. It's so wonderful that she's kept up with this. Yeah, it's really good for her. Although, you know, there goes a lot of drama. But that would be with anything, remember? Yeah. So, yeah, I guess, but she's also learning how to not to get caught. Oh. Oh.
People are still there. That is good. It's a good sign. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinnavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Divyah Dyotanavaan Swayam Jyotishtvat Diviva Swatmani Bhavah Alaukiko va. Yeah. So, Divyaha, the first word it takes, in case you're wondering who wrote the bhashya. So, he takes the first word and what does he say? Dyotanavan. Divyam, the word Divi Bhavam. Divi, so first word he says is Dyotanavan. First derivation, Dyotanavan means that which is in the form of the shining form. Dyotanavan. Yeah, the one who has shine. So that self-shining Atma is talked about when you say Divya, first meaning. And another grammatical derivation he takes, Divi Bhavam, Divyam. So grammatically, when you do the derivation of this word Divyam, Divi Bhavam, that's how it is formed. Divi Bhavam means that which is not available here. Here means where, here means here, Asmin Loke, in this Loka. Not available in this Loka. So where else is it available? In Devaloka, Divi Bhavam, somewhere else but not here. Alaukikam means, Alaukika here doesn't mean unavailable in this Loka. There's a different meaning. Alaukika here means it is not, it is the only one thing of its kind. It is so unique, so rare. The only thing that is there is called, is all this. So Divi Bhavam and Divyam, so it is so rare, so unique, and all this that we see here, the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of the stars, the light of Vidyut. Vidyut means lightning. All this is no candle to this, which is why it is called Divi Bhavam. It is not anything that you know, the Alaukikam, not anything that you know in this world. Of course, the idea is not to go into some other world. It is, it is you. So therefore, that's why the first meaning he says is Swatmani Bhavaha. Swatmani Bhavaha, he gives three meaning. One is Dyotanavan, that which is in the form of all light. Swayam Jyotihi, because it is self-shining. Swayam, self. Jyotihi, shining. So Swayam Jyotishtvat, because of it being self-revealing, self-evident, So it is unlike anything Alaukikaha, that he gives the last meaning. And then Swatmani Bhavaha, Divi Bhavaha. Div here is usually used, the word Div is used for heaven, shining celestial place. And he says Divi Bhavam, Swatmani Bhavam. Swatmani Bhavam means what? manifest as the shine of your own self, obtaining within oneself, so to speak. Swatmani bhavam divyam alaukikam. Alaukikam means not unlike anything that you can objectify and know. You cannot know this at all as anything at all. It is you. All this is nothing but you. This shine that one is searching to be, that self-shining one is searching for that happiness, and that happiness is you. That shine is you. It's not other than you. It's not outside of you. Divi bhavam, And then alaukikova means or something that is so unique and rare. You keep searching for it, keep searching for it, keep searching for it, and what happens? You don't find it because the searcher is the one that is to be sought after. And so here the seeker is the sought, that is the idea. And then he yasmat amurtah sarvamurti varjitah purushah purnah purishayo va. Yeah. So he, where is the he? Divyo hi amurtah. The he plus amurtah becomes hyamurtah, right? Yeah. So he means here what? He doesn't mean he, she, he. Yeah. And he sometimes means indeed, but he here means yasmat, because. Yasmat means because. So why is it this self-shining self? Because how is it why is it alaukika? Why is it not available anywhere? Why is it so rare? Why is it you? All this is answered because it is formless. Because it is not a thing to be sought after. What you are seeking is the glory of your own self, and that glory is always put in the form of light. Not that it's some kind of a big shining thing. Light, because we say this, this just came to light. Meaning what? It came to be understood. So light here is upalakshana, is just a little example for saying the word knowledge. Light is nothing but knowledge. So all light means all knowledge. That which obtains as your light means that one that I know, which never becomes I don't know. That's the thing. When you say I am, you're really saying what? I know I am. And that I know I am will never become I don't know, because all I don't knows are relative. Really speaking, the I know is absolute. I know, I am are absolute. I am Sat, I know Chit, and both are absolute, therefore Ananda, limitless. So I know never becomes I don't know, because all the I don't knows have to do with object. I don't know Greek, I don't know Chinese, I don't know this fruit, rambutan, there is one fruit. And there is another, it's available in Thailand. And it's got all, it looks like a little hedgehog. Yeah. Edible vegetarian hedgehog. And then, so what do you do to it? You have to, of course, clean off all these, spikes and spines and everything. And inside is this sweet, juicy wonder, which is called rambutan. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that. Now I know, but before I did not know, correct? Yeah. And there is another fruit, its older brother called durian. That many people know. It's the smelliest fruit it's got such a pungent odor. Some people happen to like it. Yeah, some people say, give me one more helping. And other people say, I want to keep durian. Durian means distance in Hindi. So it's actually durian, but we say durian, and it can test the patience of a saint. Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a monk, who is a Zen monk, writes about his experience. He started to teach meditation in a crowded hall, and some person came slightly late, 1 or 2 minutes late. And as is the practice, they brought some offerings and kept it at his feet. And it was a tray of these durians. And he said the smell overpowered him so much that he had to break the meditation and ask for it to be taken away to the next room. So, I did not know Rambutan, I did not know Durian, now I know, correct? I know this Rambutan, I know this Durian, and then what? What then? Nothing, this, nothing changed, now I know this, before I didn't know this, correct? But then, even though I know Rambutan, I don't know so many other things. I don't know custard apple, which is the sister of Rambutan, and I don't know so many things. But one thing that I know always is that I don't know so many things. When I say I don't know Rambutan, that means I know that I don't know. This is an ontological stuff, I know that I don't know. So you know that you don't know? Yes, I know that I don't know. And, will you ever not know something that you don't know? Possible, like ignorance. I did not know. I was ignorant. Now I know, correct? But still, that does not cancel because the ignorance is a relative, what we call epiphenomenon, adhyasa. So therefore, it does not cancel out the fact that this I know prevails. This I know is Chit. You say Satchidananda, Sat, I am, and I know that I am, and I know what I know, and I don't know, and I know what I don't know, including I am aware of my ignorance. So this awareness here is what is being described as light, not that there is some kind of shining light. And so this awareness, what form will it have? Tell me. How many arms will awareness have? How many feet? No. So therefore, amurtaha, murti varjitaha. The form is being negated because the idea is to know the truth of the I, which is Ishvara, which is Bhagavan, as totally formless. But then how will I know it if it's formless? Array, it is you. Are you aware that you are? Yes. Then that is you. No, but I want to see it in a form. Then stick with the Rambutan. Invoke Bhagavan, means invoke Lord Rama, that is what it is, the fruit is named after. Invoke Lord Rama in Rambutan, that's all. So that is what is called Sagunam. Gunaihi saha vartate. Sagunam means that which is along with attributes. So anything that exists in this universe which is along with attributes of name and form is also Bhagavan, is also Ishvara, is also Brahman. Then anything, what is that? Without name and form. Without form, for example, space. Correct? And something which doesn't have name, that is also Brahman. And what is this Brahman ultimately? It is you. Even though it projects itself, like even the movie projector takes that light, it's all light. The movie is all light. The movie takes that light and through some very complicated processes projects it onto the screen in the form of hero, villain, and the heroine, of course. Yeah, otherwise the villain has no reason to be there. Yes, because of all that, he has to snatch the lady's bag and run away, and the hero has to run after him. And then what is happening? The hero has to run after him, and then the hero is winning. First he is bashed up, because you have to have sympathy for the hero. He's bashed up and he's lying in a ditch. Then he comes to and then gets a second wind and runs after this fellow, this crook. and he biffs him up nicely and restores the bag to the lady, correct? Where is all this happening? Where is the lady? Nowhere, correct? Even though some actress was supposedly playing the lady, she is not dancing on the screen. She is not screaming on the screen. And even though the hero was supposedly so and so, he is not really there. What is there is just an image made of light of all these fellows. And this image is projected in a very interesting way because you don't recognize it as light at all. Even the villain, who you don't want to see as all light, is all light. Everything is all light. Light alone. And when the projection stops, in the olden days when the movie was stopped projecting, there would be just blank white light, correct? Yes. At the end of each reel, remember those days when they had to, take the reels and, so at the end it would just go. And then in the beginning also it would be white light and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and then the hero would come on the screen, correct? Count down. Amurtaha. So it's this all light. The light is just used for awareness. So this same awareness that has, that in the previous mantra, in the previous verse, had manifested into this whole universe, is now being appreciated for what it is. All light. And so what we have done here is taken away the functions of the projector. When you disable the functions of the projector, what is there? All light. Maya is the projector, simple. Brahman is the screen, so to speak, And of course this Maya is not separate from Brahman. It is itself a projection of Brahman. But this, when you disable the function of the projector to catch the light through this, moving images, and in the form of these moving images, all those moving images resolve into stationary light. So too this awareness, essentially formless. But that need not give you grief, because if it is essentially formless, that means what? It's you. You always know it as awareness. But the awareness itself is the subject, so it is not subject to having any form. Amurtaha. And then what? Purushaha. Purushaha here, double meaning. And then let us read that. It says that here. Amurtaha sarva murti vivarjitaha purushaha purnaha purishayova. Yeah. So purushaha means here two meanings. One is purnaha, that which pervades everything. That which is complete in itself without requiring anything. So in Sanskrit we can split the words in this way. It's fun. Purushaha. So the Sha here stands for what? Sarvan Purayati Purushaha. Shaha is here a kind of an agent here, if you use it, And so what does it do? It just broadcasts its Purnatvam. What is Purnatvam? Its wholeness, its completeness. And who is that? Brahman, Ishvara, and then it is also you. Oh, it is me? Yes. But I don't feel all pervasive. I don't feel complete. I feel in fact incomplete, and I am feeling that I am full of all kinds of problems. Don't worry, that same Purusha also speaks to you. Purishayova, the one who sleeps in the citadel of ignorance. The fort of ignorance, or rather fortified by one's own self-ignorance. Fortified. So that is what the whole thing is. So the one who sleeps means what? Is not awakened to the glory of this awareness. When you see this awareness as yourself, and when you see that it is neither inside nor outside, and the body but is a projection of this awareness, so too is the mind and the senses, then you see this whole truth in a very wonderful light. And you see that all the things that you think are coming after you, starting with the neighbor, starting with the weather. People complain, it's so cold, so cold, so cold, so cold, so cold. So much rain, so much rain. And then it's hot, 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 hot. It's like this. And then, starting with the weather, everything that is coming at me, or so I think, everything is coming at me. Neighbor is coming at me, neighbor's dog is coming at me. This one is, not okay. That one is bad. This one is sad. That one is mad. My life is not all right because of this one and because of that one. I wish this person was kinder. I wish this person was not so mean. All these things that one has. These ideas. And therefore what? Not understanding that everything that is manifest here is an extension of me, is myself alone. So that is also Purusha. So this grumbling fellow, the one who is unawakened to her own glory, this grumbler, mumbler, fumbler, this person is also Divyaha, Amurtaha, Purusha. Yeah, this is also pure awareness. There's no need to say pure, but still, pure awareness, Shubhraha is used later on, that's why. So this is also pure awareness. Awareness means what? Consciousness, myself alone. This is also pure awareness. And then from the standpoint of Brahman, which has not undergone any change to become the movie, it is still light which manifests as the whole movie, which is this universe. And Brahman knows that this movie is non-separate from me, that is also Purushaha. Purnaha, it fills up everything. Whereas you, what? Grumbling in the body, feeling bound by the body and its limitations. I can't see, I can't hear, I can't do this, I'm growing old, I'm just doing this, I'm weak, my bones are aching. All these things are what? Statement of not completion, correct? These are statements of incompletion. But whether you complain or whether you feel complete is irregardless, you are still that all-pervasive light. So I can go on complaining, be my guest. Have fun. Yeah. Can go on complaining because that does not negate your identity. Then why should I stop complaining? I told you, don't stop complaining. Please continue to complain. No, but I don't like to complain. That is the catch. Nobody likes to complain. Nobody wants to have complaints. This itself shows that I want to be Purna. I want to be that Purusha. The same Purusha which I don't know I am. I want to be that which I don't know I already am. So therefore, if I want to be that, that means what? I have to stop complaining. Yeah. I have to stop complaining and see, and see from the eyes of this knowledge. See from the standpoint of this knowledge that everything here is my extension alone. It's not hard to do. That itself becomes a meditation. Brew yourself a nice cup of something and just sit outside. Nowadays the weather is nice. You can sit outside and just watch things and see how everything is just that same awareness. A passerby, the one who is walking, same legs, same hands, same awareness as you. And the leaf that is shaking in the wind, the new leaves that are coming out, same awareness, same existence, same consciousness, limitlessly so, everything as you. You see everything as you. And I was surprised. Not surprising, but I was surprised when some indigenous African person told me that in their spiritual training, you have to first, they start as children, and you have to first sit and look at a tree. Just look at the tree. And this man, you should read this autobiography. I forgot its title, but it's by Malidoma Some, his name is. From Ghana or somewhere. Indigenous African spirituality. And, he just, when he was 12 or something, just that time, where in the Upanishads the children go to Gurukula to begin their Vedic studies. Around that time he was taken to his teacher, and he was a product of a lot of already Western colonized education, and so the teacher wanted to decolonize his brain. So he put him in front of a tree, look at the tree. And then he got bored. 12-year-old sitting in front of a tree. I mean, even someone who is 50-year-old, you put them in front of a tree, they will get bored after some time. They'll say, okay, been there, done that, what next? So he was being an honest boy. He went and asked the teacher, I have sat in front of the tree for 6 hours, what should I do next? And the teacher said, go back, sit in front of the tree. And then he sat, and then he daydreamt, and he did everything. 3 days passed like that. He fell asleep, he just woke up, and then again he said, come on, all the other boys and girls are progressing in this pursuit. They are they are on the next thing. And I am stuck in this sitting in front of the tree business. Can you please, do this? And he and his friend, who were also product of the Western education, they did not see the point of this sitting in front of the tree. And so the teacher this time reprimanded and said, go back and don't come until something happens. And then he said, what is supposed to happen sitting under the tree? Not under, in front of the tree. What is supposed to happen? So then they were not supposed to talk to each other, the friends who were sitting in front of the tree. But then they broke the rule, and then they decided to concoct a universal kind of an experience that they would go tell the teacher. So that the stupid task of sitting under a tree would be just stopped. Because they couldn't anymore sit under the tree. This has been 6 days or 8 days now, and they were just, they couldn't do anything. Other than eat and shower, they had to come back and sit under the tree. And that also was time. Those activities, you could not take more than a certain amount of time. So, and they were so sick of this, they said, let us say that the tree turned into burnished gold. The petals became, petals of the flower, and it started to flower. And then golden petals dropped, and everything became gold. And then, and then we are transformed. May we go on the next quest. This is our request. So they went and concocted this story. They of course, they had to speak to the teacher alone, and both their stories read identical. And the teacher, in fact, there was a group of teachers. They all put their head back and started to laugh. They pointed to these boys and laughed, and they were so ashamed. They said, what have we done wrong? They said, just go back. Don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. In fact, the more you concoct these things, the harder it is going to be. Just go sit under a tree, all right? And then they say, not under, in front of the tree. So then he writes that then he decided to take this seriously. Finally, after 10 days or something, after playing around, This is all a upalakshana, this is all an example of how after hearing so much, sometimes we finally, there comes a day we decide to take this knowledge seriously. Let me at least give it the benefit of doubt. I have wandered in the forests of doubt for so long, doubt and despair, 2 forests, So let me finally, at least give this a little chance and see whether it will do something. So then he sat, and his mind was crazy by now because he'd been sitting for so long. And then he started to talk to the tree. And he said, "Oh tree," this is the first time he even addressed it as a fellow being. Think about what's happening here. "You're supposed to teach me something. I can't imagine what," he says. It's a 12-year-old talking. "I can't imagine what you're supposed to teach me, but I acknowledge that there is something I have to learn. So, what are you? Who are you?" And so like this he started to talk to the tree. Still nothing happened for 2 or 3 days. Then what happened was that then he just looked around. There was no tree one day. And he said, "Oh, did somebody cut the tree? Where is the tree?" Then he looked at himself, and then he felt like he was sprouting it was of course an apparition. He felt like there was no separation between him and the tree. When he looked for the branches there, he found them on his person, this young boy of 12. and then he looked for the trunk. He found it in his trunk of the body, and there was no separation between him and the tree. And then he forgot even to go to the teacher and talk of this accomplishment, because this was really not an accomplishment, it just was. It just was. And so then the teacher tapped him on the shoulder, and then he said, enough of seeing the tree, come, let's go now, your quest is done. And he said, what tree? Because he could no longer see the tree. It was all he, there was no tree, So in this example, you can see this, this is what the boy was led, was through a certain kinds of meditation that we have in the Veda. It's an open eye meditation to see the non-separation, because to see the separation you don't require meditation.
Yeah.
You just require to be irritated, that's all. You need irritation, not meditation. But to see the non-separation, you require some inquiry, you require some training, you require some meditation here. So this meditation buttresses the knowledge that we have been learning here, where you just sit outside, you just sip something. You don't have to buy a meditation cushion, you don't have to buy a meditation gong, you don't have to buy a little cushion for the meditation gong. You see, this is so easy. Just drag a chair, sit on your porch, sit in your backyard, wherever it is, and just watch. Watch everything that happens and see that as an extension of yourself. And see that, and you can even chant this Divyaha, Amur, this becomes Nididhyasana, a contemplation. And this contemplation, the knowledge doesn't take too long to walk in the heart. And what makes it difficult sometimes is that, when that readiness is incomplete, one requires, in addition to the knowledge, one requires contemplation. Contemplation means removing what is called viparita bhavana. Bhavana is the I know I am Brahman, I know I am everything, but ... And those ... are significant. But I don't feel it, but I don't experience it, but I don't behave in these ways. I behave opposite to what I know I am. I should be better, but I am not. That kind of a feeling. And so these residual feelings of born of habitual orientation, these kinds of things remove. So in addition to being a Mahavakya, this is a contemplative sentence that even if you don't know Sanskrit, you can say that self-shining awareness, which is the light of all lights, which is me, which is that person, which is this person, which is the tree, which is everything sentient and insentient, all this is that consciousness, limitless knowledge consciousness. You can see that. And and to do that, itself is to be able to do that is a great blessing. Sometimes people say how to make this practical. So this is one of the ways to make it practical. So amurtaha purushaha. So this purusha clinches the whole thing, because what is this purusha? Me and the one who is ignorant of one's own glory, myself, is purusha. Asleep to my glory. And who is this other Purusha? There is no other Purusha. It's the only one Purusha that I want to be. The one who is light of all lights, the one who is all pervasive, the one who is the epitome of contentment, and the one who is full, the one who is whole. This is alone the Purusha. And this Purusha is what I want to be. And so who is this other shadow Purusha? Just the shadow. Yeah. Sometimes the light casts the shadow. In fact, this Purusha, the one who feels incomplete, is just a throw up. That's all. It's just a projection of my own ignorance. Because of my ignorance, I don't know this. Therefore, I think there are two Purushas. But the very next line cancels the fact that there are two. It says Saha, one person. Saha. I lost my page, 1 minute. Yeah. Saha bhashya abhyantaraha saha bhashyabhyantarena vartate iti. Yeah, so the next line cancels the fact, the possibility of there being more than one Purusha. There is only one. That is whole. That is you. But what about that unwholesome one, the one who complains? That one is explained away. How? Explained away by saying that Purusha is both inside and outside. Bhashya, outside, inside, antaraha, abhyantaraha. The innermost truth and the outermost is also this Purusha. When it is associated with the body, mind, sense complex, as it were, as though associated, it takes on the dharma, the attributes of the body, and mistakes itself to be finite. So therefore one says, I am 5 foot so many inches tall, I am an idiot, I am a donkey, I don't do anything right, I always make mistakes. I wish I could be perfect. That wish to be perfect. That is what it is. You are already perfect. No, but then why do I do things so imperfectly? Because it's not about the doing. You are looking for perfection in places where they aren't, where it doesn't exist. Yeah. Perfection does not exist in doing. Perfection exists at the level of being, not doing. So this is what we have to see. And so therefore, sabhahyabhyantaraha. It is outside, it is inside, it is, on top, it is underneath, it is everywhere, it is here, it is there, it is, all over the place. What is this? This awareness that is manifest as the Jagat. What is Jagat? This manifest reality starting with my own body, mind, sense complex. So this is there, which is everywhere, which is in the body, which is outside the body. And when I say this inside, outside, then I understand something very well. I understand that this inside, outside is also a relative perception. From the standpoint of this body. It's so crazy, this perception. And what is here? Air, correct? And then I take a deep breath. What has it become? Prana. Yeah. So this air, which went by the name Vayu, now becomes what? Life force. As soon as I take it in, it's no longer air. It is my life force. It's my respiration. Don't mess with it. It is mine. And then what? Stop holding your breath. Put it out. Oh, thank God. Okay. Then what happens? Then it is back to air. Correct? Before it was mine, now it is not mine. Mine, not mine. See, same thing. Air, space, all these things. So this sameness we start to see everywhere. Everything is all one and the same. Space, space is there. Room space. What else? Pot space, stomach space, breakfast time, stomach space. And sometimes when I don't understand, spaced out, that is also a space. So sabhahya, outside as well as inside. Abhyantaraha. Same thing, fire. You say fire that cooks the food on the stove. You turn on the gas, you put the water, you make your tea. And then what? Tea goes in me and then it gets cooked again, because there is always a simmering fire. Sometimes, when you are not eating frequently, that stove is turned up high because it says, please give me something to cook. So really, one eats, even if you say, I am a raw, what is that called? Raw person, raw eater. I don't touch anything cooked at all. You are not eating raw. You cannot eat raw. Yes. Because the Jathara Agni here, Jathara Agni cooks the food. So much for the raw person who is only, living on kale smoothies. Yeah. I asked somebody, how can you drink kale? One day I think I can do it, 2 days I can do it. But how can you drink kale smoothie every day? No, I put half a banana in it, as though that's going to make a difference, Yeah, it's like saying, I wanted to see how the ocean looks on the full moon. When the ocean, you see the ocean with the full moon, it looks all milky. So I wanted to see how that is. Oh, but today is new moon. How can you see that? No, I just put a cup of milk in the ocean so that I can see the milky ocean, like that. So it's like putting a piece of banana in the kale smoothie, It gets lost somewhere. And then this kale smoothie, the person feels, I am all wrong. Yeah, that kale smoothie, in order to extract the nutrients, and to extract the nutrients of the kale, the missing banana, everything, the fire of the stomach has to cook it again. Yeah. And so the person who is eating cooked food, who steams the kale and then eats it, is also eating cooked food, except it is twice cooked. Yeah. Double cooked. Double boiler, So first you cook outside, then the fire of the stomach fire cooks it very nicely inside. It's all digested, goes where it is supposed to go, takes the nutrients everywhere. That is the thing. So water, of course, we need not even talk about water. 3/4 of the earth is water, 3/4 of the body is all fluids. Water everywhere, And then what? Earth, which are the bones. The bones are the earth. They are the foundation for all life. So too, these bones are the foundation to bear the weight of this body. The bones. And then what else is left? Air, we talked about, lungs, stomach, fire, space, all the 5 elements. You just look at it at the level of simple 5 elements. You find that is outside as well as inside. Yeah, this is magic. So really, how can you make a separation? It's not even possible to make a separation. So when you say outside, when you invoke the 5 elements, you have what? You have all these 5 elements. You can see them. You can interact with them. But inside also you are interacting with them. Because when you are hungry, the stomach goes kuru 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 kuru, makes some noises. Yeah, that is Mr. Fire in the stomach saying, feed me, feed the fire. So this way, there is no inside outside. The inside outside is from the standpoint of the ignorance. Ignorance alone, which makes all these compartments inside. Where do you say that you end? Maybe the tip of the fingers, because they are the extremities. The tips of the fingers, correct? And so, here, do you exist? No. Here I exist. This is me, because I feel me. This is also me. And then in between, not me, not me. Hello. Me, not me, not me, not me, not me, not me, not me, me. How arbitrary this is. You see that. So there is a certain identification with the body, mind, sense complex, and we need that. We are not trying to remove that. To remove that would actually be dangerous. There was one woman who woke up from the coma. She was in a coma. She woke up. And then what happened? When she woke up, she had something went wrong. Some part of the brain was injured. She could talk and she learned to walk and all that was fine. She did not have any sensation of pain. None. Nothing. So she didn't know where she stopped and where something else began. She was constantly in the hospital. Constantly. Why? Because she was hurting herself, pouring boiling water, spraining herself, breaking some bone, falling. She doesn't even know when she has hurt herself. Because there is no separation, so to speak. That we don't want. We are not trying to eradicate the separation. We are only, transcending it through knowledge. Oh, but this word transcendence, it is so difficult. How can I transcend something? And the S, does it come before the C or after the C? Where does it come? How to even spell the word properly, transcend? If I can't even spell it, how do I transcend? What is this transcendence? This transcendence is as simple as saying touch wood. Yeah, you say touch wood, you are transcending, you are enacting transcendence. Because whatever is at hand, you touch it. You touch the table and say touch wood. You touch the chair and say touch wood. You have transcended the name called chair. You have transcended the form called chair, table. And the shape in which the wood happens to be in. You have transcended all of it and you have gone straight to wood. When anybody says touch wood, they don't have to go hug a tree. They don't have to go to the forest and hug a tree. Or go to the lumber yard. They don't have to do that. Anything that is available, they say touch wood. Sometimes if nothing available, they say touch wood. I'm not going to comment on that. Yeah. What does this mean? Touch wood means what? This is wood? Yeah. Sometimes it behaves like it is filled with wood, I suppose. I don't know what it means. But so touch wood, anything, even non-wood things, they touch and say touch wood. So touch wood is an example of everyday transcendence. So too here, sa bhashya sa antaraha cha. The one who is all pervasive. This is the meaning of all pervasive. Just like the 5 elements pervade the body and pervade this universe. So too, that which is the truth of these 5 elements. Don't stop at the 5 elements here. The 5 elements is just an example to show the inside-outside arbitrariness. Go beyond the 5 elements now to that presence which is all awareness, which is perfect, which is a perfect conscious being, perfect in itself, which is both inside and outside what? This body-mind-sense complex. When it is inside, I feel trapped. Yeah. When it is outside, I look for it. I can't find it. This is, both ways it is a problem. That's why we need this knowledge. The knowledge helps to make a cognitive shift so that I'm able to see the universe and myself perfectly. That I'm already perfect. I don't have to become perfect. I have to see this. I have to own this up. And at this level, it is a perfection of being. It's not the perfection of doing. Doing will always be imperfect. Even when you say you have done something perfectly, you show it, there will be some imperfections. But at the level of who you are, all that is there is perfection itself. Very beautiful. Very nice. So, sa bhashya sa antaraha. And what is this bhashya antaraha? Is explained here in the next line. Ajaha na jayate kutaschit swataha anyasya janma nimittasya cha abhavat yatha jala budbuda adehe vayavyadi yatha nabha sushira bhedanam ghatadi. Yeah. So, ajaha. Ajaha means birth is negated for this perfect being. Yeah. Because anything that is born is imperfect. We have to see here what is the implications. Anything jayate, whatever jayate is imperfect. Why? Because birth itself is a series of mishaps. How? Even though we celebrate birth, we have a party, distribute sweets, and celebrate all the birthdays. Each birthday especially after 40, I find that I'm able to eat one less item in the spread hosted at my own birthday party. Yeah. Starts at age 40. After that, what? Oh, I can't eat too much oil, so no chips. Okay, then what? Then I can't eat I can't eat gluten. Okay, no wheat, then what? Then I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't eat this, So you can just smell the cake from afar, that's all it is. Can't eat sugar, can't eat wheat, can't eat this, can't eat that. What else is left? So that itself shows that even though I'm saying my birthday, every year my birthday, and you look at the photographs, they look, nice. There is a cake, there are candles, there are friends clapping, and there are party hats, and all kinds of people giving gifts. The birthdays all look identical, but for the fact that, the one who has taken birth is constantly, changing. Not for the better, okay? Yeah. The one who has taken birth, who is the one who has taken birth? The birthless one, really. This is Ajaha. So the one who has taken birth, the birth is itself an epiphenomenon for the birthless one. The birthless one is the one who is free of birthdays. Oh, but that's so bad. What about presents, candles, cakes? Yeah, cakes, okay. Candles, fine. Presents, wonderful. But then the one who has taken birth is the one who is subject to death. Naturally. So no birth means what? No death. Very nice. This is the way to be. So, from the standpoint of the one who is celebrating birthdays, even though the friends haven't changed, the presents haven't changed, sometimes people give the same thing, and cakes haven't changed, parties haven't changed, there is the change from the standpoint of the one who has taken birth. Who is that? The one who is imprisoned, as it were, in this body, mind, sense complex is grieving. Oh, over the hill. Sometimes the birthday card also says, over the hill. I saw one. Yeah. You have gone. Over the hill means what?
Oh, it's all over.
Yeah, it's all over. Actually, I thought
better
of...
view.
Huh?
Means you have a better view.
Yeah, so what I thought over the hill meant, I didn't know, some Americanism. I thought over the hill meant the rest of it will be just slipping and sliding. So only uphill is hard and the rest of it climbing down the hill is easy. But that's not the idea. That means that you're rolling at a fast pace. You sweat the boulder over the hill, zoom, it's gone. That is the idea. So the person who is everybody is happy. The person who is celebrating the birthday is like, this year somehow I survived, coughing, hacking, getting all these things, and then next year, I don't know what it will be, and the year after that, I don't know. Oh, 10 years ago my birthday was so much fun. And now it is just reduced to, having just a few friends, and then having just one person, and then what? Having just only one person who happens to be the caretaker, that's all it is. It's all over. This is what the person who is celebrating the birthday is doing. As the birthday keeps going, advancing in age, the person celebrating the birthday is feeling more and more frustrated, more and more upset, more and more, this is not good anymore. Even though they may be smiling, they are happy, but that happiness is mingled with unhappiness. What's the point of this? Why are we doing this every year? What birthday? What is this? And then Bhagavan is very good. Ishvara, takes away the memory. And then one day you wake up, you forgot it is your birthday. Wonderful. Fantastic. Yes. May that long continue, because no more birthdays means no more, anguish. No more existential angst. There is no angst anymore. You can just be free. So here, ajaha means the one, the birthless one. The birthless one has as though taken birth, from the standpoint of this body, mind, sense complex. Birthless one is Ishvara, it is you. But associated with his body, you have a birthday. This is one of the lovely paradoxes. And so that's why we say in the Purusha Sukta, Ajayamano bahudha vijayate. Ajayamana, the one which is free from birth, the birthless one. Bahudha vijayate, has taken many births in many forms, in the form of this whole universe. This is a paradox. Both are not real. One has to be real. What is real? The birthlessness is real. For you, the birth comes and goes. Yeah. The birth is just a as though manifestation, like even the snake upon the rope, so to speak. So here, the birthless one, ajaha. Ajaha means, the one, he gives two meanings. One is, it was not born out of anything. So where did Brahman come from? You can't say nowhere because it is you. But you also can't say, it was created by so and so, it was invented by Newton or Einstein. You cannot say that. It was not invented. It did not originate from anything other than itself. It did not originate from itself either. That is the second meaning. First is, it did not originate from anything other than itself. Why are we constrained to say that? To negate all the other, nannies and maternity for Brahman. Yeah. It doesn't have a foster mother, it doesn't have a nanny, it doesn't have a wet nurse, it doesn't have a mother, it has nothing. It is unborn, uncreated, always existent. Then ajaha means also it was not born out of itself. Like what? He gives the example. What is the example? Jala budbuda dehe vayavyadi. Like even the bubbles and the foam, the sea foam. The foam on the sea, you see all these bubbles. They were born of the interaction of the water itself. The water which churns relentlessly gives birth to these bubbles. So Brahman has not given birth to anything, neither is it born of anything else. So these two contentions we will see in detail when next Saturday. So tomorrow is a very exciting class. It's a new class which we have started. Just 1 or 2 classes are over. What is that called? Bodhasara, a new text which is going to meet once or twice a month. Twice a month when I am in town, and if I am not in town, sometimes it may meet once a month. So this is a wonderful text. It is written by one Narahari, and it is of very recent origin during the British colonization of India, and he has a wonderful way with language, and it is just so beautiful. So that is tomorrow, and the other good news is that you can sleep in. It is not going to start so early. It will start now like 9:30 Pacific time, and hopefully it will be broadcast on both of them by tomorrow. All the glitches will be worked out, and we hope. So that should be the thing. So tomorrow 9:30 to noon we have what is that? Bodhasara. If you are in town, you are welcome to take it in person. If not, you can take it online, and I will see you all tomorrow. Today afternoon there was supposed to be a class at 4:30, but we have given it away because they wanted to see some movie about something they had to see. So that is why it's not going to be held this afternoon. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Any questions? Om.